There's something happening to me.
Dune is a Warner Brothers and legendary production film, directed by Denis Villeneuve, adapted from the novel in the same name written by Frank Herbert. To keep my expectation and hype in check, I purposely not seek out any information about the movie. I watched as little trailer as possible and I have no idea who made it or who directed it, or have any preconceived knowledge of the source material so I can judge this film fairly with a fresh pair of eyes. And to hopefully not feel utterly shattered if the movie turns out to be a complete flop.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy this Sith, not join them!
What, you wanted more?
I'm here to say that I absolutely adore this. Dune describes a universe, bustling with different planets and places of interest. Each world enriched with its own technological advancement, geopolitical landscapes, politics, cultures, costumes, customs, languages, music, creatures, architectures, and law. Words cannot describe how detailed this movie is. Every single moving part in this world exists with a purpose. Nothing feels contrived, out of place, or gratuitous. I think this is where the movie shines the most. Like, if you tell me the director just went to an actual alien planet to film this movie, I'll buy a hook and sinker. From the Victorian era to the dark futuristic motif, to the Middle East inspired withering desert, to the space beyond our comprehension. Everything are just so well aligned that they truly feel like they are from the same universe without losing their visual identity. Before we went to the theater, my friend keep asking me, hey, is this from the same Star Wars universe? Fuck no, they ain't got purple lightsabers. I do see where they're coming from. They do share some similarities from the design and aesthetic standpoint. And as far as I know, Star Wars is inspired from Dune. But I think what this movie is the most correspondent to is Avatar. Avatar is a film that is very much not about its plot or the story or the characters. Avatar is a film about the boisterous alien world that James Cameron had built. It's about its technology, biological evolution, and ecology. It's about live and breathe amongst the denizens of Pandora in a bioluminescent forest. It's not to say that the plot or the story are pointless, but they are mostly there to serve as a backdrop of the alien world in which the story took place, which is exactly the case of Dune. But when Uncle James prepared a 3-course meal, Dune feels like only an appetizer with a whiff of the entree. Because to set up so many characters, plots, and objects while it's building a complete and comprehensive movie, telling a self-containing plot with a satisfying character arc is very much impossible. And that's actually why many of his predecessors have failed. So the director planned this movie as a two-parter with one TV show on the way, and he very much had this in mind while shooting the movie because this is not a complete movie, and it moves extremely slow. This movie has a mammoth 2.5 hours of runtime, and it was pretty awesome. It was 2.5 hours of pure cinema, and during that elongated runtime, most of which is spending on expositing world building and some character foundation, the plot of the movie won't kick in until much later on in the film. And with any other movie, I'll be like, hell fucking no. But with Dune, I was sitting in the theater on the edge of my seat with a big ass smile on my face because what's being displayed on the screen is just so fascinating. Even with a lacking sense of urgency and a goal, the movie still had me intrigued the whole way just by exploring the world and understanding every single underpinning that built up this gargantuan of a universe. And because the director is not forced to tell a comprehensive movie, he can go much more meticulous with its detailing. Think of it like snow in the deserts. Think of all the contraptions and gadgets. Think of all its people and lore and the creatures. And imagine it being much more detailed. The world of Dune is that place. It's a desolate, unrelenting and unforgiving purgatory in which many people reside. An infinite horizon distorted by the sweltering heat wave. Ponderous machinery engulfed by the monster that swallowed it whole. Countless bloodshed and violence spilled on the Syrian sand only to the precious girl hidden inside the desert that's worth more than anything in the galaxy. This truly constructed world is succinct and so down to earth that even with its prolonged prologue, the second act never felt dragged or humdrum. Even so, the exposition can still feel laborious at first, and many of which is conveyed through verbal dialogues. You're going to hear many space gibberish, lots of call signs and names that's not going to make sense to you until the many of the times you heard it. But it's also very intriguing for the viewers to find out what exactly those words means, using the bits and pieces of clues scattered throughout the film to grasp the meaning behind the unfamiliar vocabulary, aka this film makes you think. I think it's best to see this movie like a TV series, like what Snyder Cut was originally going to be, or the Netflix show that you go to binge watch for several episodes in a row. Because if you're going to the theater expecting an adrenaline rush or a well-paced 3 acts, I think you'll be sorely disappointed. Yes, big fight scenes do happen. Yes, the characters are really good. Like, really fucking good. Like, is this even the same Oscar Isaac from the Star Wars universe?
Oh, they fly now! They fly now? They fly now!
Beyond that, this movie is a very slow, dopamine-inducing ride, and it's absolutely not a plot-driven movie like all the Marvel films. Even though I do genuinely believe that this is one of the best movies made this year, I'm afraid that this might be a required taste. Part 1 ended on a rather jarring note with no satisfying conclusion, and just like many of Denis Villeneuve's previous films, they are most certainly remarkable, but they can be grim or abstruse. If you're the kind of audience who are looking for a high-action action film and just turn your brains off for 90 minutes, this movie is probably not gonna be for you. The visual in this film is out of this fucking world, and Denis Villeneuve's visual flair is imbued in every single pixel, in every single shot. The CGI is infused so perfectly into every frame. The extravaganza and the arresting shot composition, his ability to capture these larger-than-life characters without losing their significance in vast framing is also dazzling, and using our visual fatigue, the azure from Furman's blue eyes, and the verdigris from the greenery feels that much more saturated and refreshing. We're often just lost in the green vista, trapped inside this figment of reality. From the colossal harvester creeping through the desert, earthworm that stirs the tidal wave of sand while it travels, extensive army that stretches beyond our field of view, and the armada that completely dwarfs it. Denis Villeneuve is so comfortably working with visual effects that he's able to not only make some visually stunning imagery, mind-bending shots, but also challenge the boundary between fiction and reality. The lines are well written and delivered by a diamond-solid casting. The film takes itself very seriously, and the actors made up for the lack of warmth with their own personalities. A loyal friend and a loving father, a stern soldier and a cryptic mother. Each and every character, foreground and background, all portrayed with such depth and detail that you cannot help but amazed by the raw talent being displayed on the big screen. The score by Hans Zimmer coupled with Denis' visual is a card-throwing combo. It's composed with such vigor and variety, like the Spine Children Choir in the Bene Gesserit score. The powerful soprano shouting out otherworldly languages that we do not comprehend. To and throw scene that shook us to our core. We may not understand the meaning behind the lyrics, but we understand the feelings that it elicits. The sound effect, the costume, the set design, the makeups, all of them are in the running for Oscar. This movie is not for everyone. I think just like Tenet, this movie has artistic intent that may not suit everybody's liking. The storytelling is very unorthodox. The pacing is excruciatingly slow. The long runtime and the relentless attention to world building is going to shun many people away. But for many others and for me, those are the exact reasons why this movie is great. Maybe it's not for everyone, but it's definitely one of a kind. And compared to Blade Runner 2049, this movie is like a theme park ride in comparison. And for me, I think by the 600 times I saw Zendaya's face in the flashback, I kinda got tired of it, but you know, somebody might like that. I think you should absolutely go see this movie yourself. I think the novel readers will be pretty pleased with this one. This is a masterpiece of a motion picture, brilliant in the way that it tells its story, and utilizes every single cinematic implement to their fullest. A nitty-gritty world building with dimensional characters. If you can bear the slow burner, you are in for a ride.
So, I just saw the season finale of Game of Thrones last night. This fight's for you, Khaleesi.
Yikes.